Hey everyone, Sheree here. Today I'm going to be working with the March Margot Kit from Felicity Jane. Lots of beautiful journaling cards here to choose from. So they're going to be a feature of the spread that I'm going to create in this new My Memories notebook. So these are new to Felicity Jane this month. You get 2 in a pack. They are 9.5 by 7.5 inches in size. So they're a bit bigger than the previous A5 notebooks and the Traveler's Notebook inserts that we have in the shop. And I've used both of these before and I'm really excited to use this larger size. So if I put them on top of each other, you can see that it is a little bit wider, a little bit taller than the other notebooks, so you've got a little bit more space to fit things into your projects. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. Now I am jumping straight to February. I'm planning on doing at least 1 spread per month in this notebook. So inside you've got beautiful quality blank white pages, and as I said, I'm going to do one for each month, so I'm going to leave a space for January and go back to that. But today I'm going to work on my February spread. I love that the Margot Kit has lots of hearts included, especially this journaling card here. So I'm actually going to use that one for my title today. So my title, of course, is the month of February. So I've got that already there onto some wax paper. I'm going to use that on top of that card. So the Margot chipboard alphabet, such a fun font this month. I love the mix of colours in this. So I'm using that for my title. And then I've got a mix of other journaling cards that I'm going to use as well. And I've also cut 2 pieces of the pattern paper from the Margot paper pack, and I'm going to use those 2 pieces as a backing for photos and journaling as well. So I'm mixing those in with those journaling cards that I've already selected. I also have the Margot 6x6 cut apart sheets, and I'm planning on using a couple of these on my spread today. They're all 2x2 inch squares on each of these sheets, and really fun to cut up and use those. So I've got those there. I've got my photos here in a variety of sizes, so these are all just random photos from February. And I've got the die cut shapes here, other little bits and pieces, the tiny little pom-poms, the tiny jewel pom-poms, and the mini wide paper clips that came in the kit this month. I really want to use some of those. So what I've done is got a piece of thread and a needle, and I've threaded 3 little pom-poms onto that thread, and then I've just tied it onto that mini wide paper clip. So I'm planning on using that on my spread today. I've also got one of the library card pockets from the kit as well, and there are some labels that go along with those, so I'm going to use one of those, probably this floral one because it's gorgeous. I've also got my journaling already printed here, ready to cut out and use, and along with that I've just typed out some words that I want to add to some of my photos as well. So that's there ready to go. So I think I'm ready to make a start, so I will pop you one fast forward and show you how I'm going to put these pages today together. Okay, so first off I'm just going to add some journaling to that green pattern paper, and now I'm going to grab my sewing machine and I'm going to add stitching to each of those cards in the pile, including the journaling cards and those 2 square pieces from the cut apart sheets. So I've done that. I'm just going to trim off all of the threads. I used a bit of washi tape to keep that vellum in place so that I could stitch across that as well. So now that the threads are done, I can go ahead and start building these cards. So for my title, I've got my alphabet stickers there, and I'm just going to use my tweezers to put each one of those into place. So I'll work my way through those, getting them nicely spaced, and then I'm going to finish that one off with this little die cut floral. It's so pretty. So that card is done. Next up, I've got that grid journaling card. I'm going to add a photo onto that, and keeping this one nice and simple, just going to add a label to the side there, a little bit of double-sided tape on the back, and I've got a little bit of printed journaling to add onto that as well, and I will add a little bit of stitching to that label too, just a little bit later. So I'll put those ones aside for now. Next up I'm going to create a little flip up. So I've got 2 photos and some journaling, and what I'm going to do is use a piece of vellum as the hinge. So it's about 1 inch wide, and I've folded that in half lengthways. So I'm going to adhere half of it to the top at the back of that bottom photo. So then I've got that little flap at the top of vellum, and that's going to be sandwiched in between the journaling and the photo that's going on top. So I'm just adding double-sided tape to the back of that journaling card. I'll just remove the backing of one strip of double-sided tape, and I'm going to place those two pieces face to face, and then I'm going to just fold that vellum over that edge. So as you can see, that now flips up nicely. So to finish off, all I need to do is add that top photo onto there. So I've got all my double-sided tape there, and then I'm going to grab that photo, make sure everything's the right way up, and just line that up nicely and stick that photo down. So my flip up is done. So that was nice and easy. All I'm going to do now is add a little tab to the side. So I've got that blue die cut tab, adding the word birthday on there, and I do want to add a bit of stitching to that before I add it to that flip up. So I've just put that aside for now. Moving on to this other card, this is still on the first page of my spread. So I've got a piece of plain pattern paper, plain paper from the Tory kit, and I've just used my fringing scissors just to add a little bit of texture to this card. So I'm going to tuck that underneath that Remember 2x2 square, just adding a little bit of interest to the bottom there. And I decided to make this into a little hanging piece. So I'm going to add some double-sided tape to the back. I've got a small piece of twine that I'm going to attach to the very top on each side of the back of that Remember square. So just making sure I've got the right amount of length there. I don't need it to be too long. So I'm just going to put it onto the card, make sure it's got enough twine there. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down, and then I'm going to also use a little piece of glue dot to attach my twine to the top of the card. So just making sure I've got enough double-sided tape on the back there that's going to hold everything in place, including the twine that I've added to the back there. So making sure I get that in the right spot. And this is where I'm just adding a little bit of glue dot right at the top there to make it look like this piece is hanging on that card. And to finish off, I've got a little epoxy dot that I'm going to add to the top, so it looks like this is attached with that little epoxy dot at the top there. So I'm really happy with how this is turning out. To finish off, I'm going to grab a chipboard heart from the Aspen kit. The colours go really nicely, especially this green. So I'm just going to add that little heart to the top there. So give you a closer look at that. All done. So they are the 4 cards that will be going onto the first page of my spread with that little flip up there. So moving on to the second page, I've got one of the library card pockets from the Margot kit, and I've chosen that floral one because it's gorgeous. Now my journaling is printed. I'm just adding a label to the top for the title there. It says February Favourites, and I've just attached that little pom-pom thread to the side with the mini wide paper clip. I've got the Tory epoxy dot stickers here, and I'm just going to add one of each of the colours next to each item of the list, and I'm trying to keep the same colour order as they appear in the pack. I did miss the yellow there, so I'm just going to go back and add that one in. And the colours from the Tory kit just go so well with the Margot kit, so I'm really happy with that. To finish off the pocket, I've got that other square piece from the cut apart sheet. It says My Favourite Things, and I'm just going to attach that to the front of that library card pocket. So that's on there now. I can tuck my journaling in, and that one is complete. So next to that one on my page, I'm going to add another photo. So I've got another journaling card from the Margot kit, just some simple stripes in the multicolours, adding my photo onto the center of that. And just like the one I did previously, I'm just going to add a label to the side with some wording adhered to the center of that. And again, I will add a little bit of stitching to that label very shortly. Alright, so this second page is almost done. I've got one more card to complete because the journaling was already done on that green pattern paper. So I've got a 2-inch square photo, I've got a blue label, and I've printed out the words Valentine's Day 2022, so I've got that on the label there, and I do want to add that die cut floral piece as well. The thing that I love about using the journaling cards in the notebook is how you can just hang things off the sides of the card, which you can't really do when you've got them in pocket pages. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stick those pieces down into place. So I've got my photo at the top, adding in that label, and then I can add that floral piece to the side. So I will add some stitching across that label as well, and you'll see me gather up everything very shortly to finish off any more stitching that needs to be done. Alright, so this is where I'm going to gather those pieces. I've got that little tab as well. I'm going to grab my sewing machine and go ahead and do that stitching. Alright, so the stitching's done. I'm now going to staple that tab to the side of my flip up. Just 2 little staples there. And now my cards are complete. So I've got my notebook now, and I'm just putting each of the cards into place. Make sure they're nicely lined up, and then all I need to do is adhere them down. So I'll just be using double-sided tape on the back of each one for that, lining them up as I go. And I'm really happy with how this spread has turned out. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing how I've put these pages together today. I look forward to bringing you some more projects in my My Memories notebook throughout the year. Let me know if you've got any questions about this one. I'll just pop it down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I'll see you again soon with another project. Thank you so much for joining me today. Enjoy the rest of your day.